All right, hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thank you for joining us today on the live stream. So for those of you guys who know how things work here on Site Review Tuesday, go ahead and throw a number out in the chat, 1 to 104. So that's the numbers that I'm looking for. Somewhere between 1 and 104. Go ahead and throw a number out there in the chat for me. You guys, that'll determine the first site that we review. And if you're brand new here on Site Review Tuesday, the way things work is we review 3 websites. Each site gets 15 minutes per review. The third site is going to come from you guys hanging out there with us in the live chat audience. And as always, we're kind of giving points, but we're not really keeping score. This is all for fun. All right, let's see. Hey, also, if this is your first time joining us, make sure you say hi to us. Let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know there in the chat. You guys, if I sound a little off, it's because like 10 minutes ago, my computer decided to randomly crash on me. And so I'm a little worried. If I disappear, my computer crash on me, I'll do my best to reboot and get back up. But fingers crossed that none of that happens. All right, hanging out with me today, as always, on Tuesday, I've got Katie taking care of you guys in chat, helping you guys out, answering some questions, helping me out, making sure that I pronounce things correctly, keeping me on track and focused. So I really appreciate Katie jumping on here and hanging out with us every single Tuesday. Some announcements really quick before we get into the site review. If you haven't had your site reviewed yet, make sure that you submit your site through the link that's been thrown out in the chat. It's also in the bottom of this video as well. In the description there, it says link to submit your site, or site review link, or submission form, or something like that. I forget. I write those every week. I should remember what it says. But that link's in the description below, and it's also should be there in the chat. I have a few announcements for you guys really quick. So this Thursday on Zenfolio Live, we're going to talk about how to include, not iClude, who writes these things, how to include digital downloads with your session fee. Also, don't forget the Ultimate Photographer Starter Package Sweepstakes is still going on. The link to join that and to be able to sign up for that should be in the description below. And guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, again, if you're the grand prize winner, some pretty sweet prizes for that grand prize winner. $250 B&H gift card, $250 towards a Miller signature album, among all of those things that you see listed there. So make sure that you go check that out and you enter. That link should be in the description below. If it's not, and I forgot to include it, Katie, I'm sure can grab it and throw it in the chat for you guys. So make sure that you go check that out. Also, don't forget, we are doing some group training sessions. So the Book Me, the new feature that's called Book Me, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, we do a group training session on that, basic selling and advanced selling. Those links should be in the description to sign up for that. August 13th, you guys, is going to be our 200th episode of Zenfolio Live. So that is a live stream that I promise you will not want to miss. If you only make one Zenfolio Live the entire month of August, it needs to be the August 13th episode, because that is the 200th live stream for Zenfolio Live. We're going to have a really special guest. We're going to have a pretty cool giveaway, and I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff on that live stream as well. So put it on your calendars. That is one that you don't want to miss. Also, we are continuing our challenge of challenging you guys as well as us to post positive things daily on our social media channels. And hey, while you're posting that stuff, whether it's images or just you hanging out with your family, you behind the scenes, whatever it is, make sure that you use that hashtag Zenfolio Photographers for a chance to be featured on one of our social media platforms. All right, let's see who we've got hanging out with us so far. Angela Jenkins hanging out with us. She said she had a pretty good weekend, but it was busy. Hey, everybody, did you have a good 4th of July weekend? Hopefully you did. I had a pretty cool one. Got to hang out and shoot some fireworks off with my son, because here in North Carolina, we do get to do those kinds of things, which is a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys had a good one as well. Let's see. We've got Charles Mills hanging out with us again. It's been a while. Good to see you back, Charles. Courtney Bentley, Jeff Cable jumping on here. Did you guys catch the live stream with Jeff Cable last week? If you missed that, you guys need to go check that out. That interview was awesome. He blessed us with some really awesome information and knowledge. If you didn't get a chance to watch that live stream with Jeff Cable, make sure that you go check it out. Jeff, thanks for jumping on here and hanging out with us and participating, man. I appreciate you joining us too. Let's see. Maria Evans, Yvonne, and Mike Nelson says hi first time. Hey, Mike, thanks for jumping on here. June Jacobson. All right, so let's go ahead and get started in the site review. Let's see, I've got a lot of numbers coming out in here. So it looks like the first number that I saw was from Courtney. She said site number 3. So I'm going to go grab that site. If you guys haven't submitted your site for reviews yet, make sure that you do that using that link. Okay, let me go ahead and do that really quick. So Courtney said site number 3. Let me grab site number 3 and just get this pulled over here. All right. And guys, if I forgot to include those links in the description below this video, you can always go back to previous site reviews or previous Zenfolio lives, and the links will be in those descriptions. So I'm talking about the photographer sweepstake contest and the training sessions. Those links are in the previous live streams if I forgot to include them in this one. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay. Site number 3 is Emily Kathleen Photography. So let me throw this link out in the chat for you guys, and we'll get started on that review. We're going to get 15 minutes up on the clock. There's that link. Let's get our 15-minute time going, and we'll just go ahead and get started. All right, so just pulling this down really quick so you guys can see this. We have Emily Kathleen Photography up here, and if I hover over this for a second or two, let's just take a look, and you can see in here it says fine art landscape photographer. I think that says Prather photographer. Not sure what that means. Maybe that's something I just don't understand. It's totally, actually, it's highly likely. But at least you do have some information in your website title. Again, it's not so important up there in the thumbnail bar or the tab up there. It's important because that's also your website description, which is what shows up on search results. And so good job on you having actual information in there. You also have a customized favicon here as well. So nice on that so far, doing pretty good. Okay, so far we're seeing a lot of landscape, nature photography, some beautiful photos. So far, the images that I've seen look like you have been strategic with what you've selected, especially for this full screen slideshow. I am not seeing anything that looks like it's really pixelated or getting cropped off. So that tells me that you've thought about the images that you want to show here on your homepage. You were strategic with how you selected them. You made sure that it showed off your photography as well as it fit the space that you were presenting them in. So really nice job on that. And as people are already saying there in the chat, some absolute beautiful photos. So some beautiful, beautiful images. Now, I haven't counted how many images we have. I haven't really seen this stop yet. I'm not sure how many photos there are going to be. Let's just go through and see if we can hit a duplicate. Lots of beautiful photos here. Okay, I think we kind of started off with this image right here. So we're kind of back around. So I don't think that's too many. Again, some absolute beautiful photos, really cool stuff. So we have purchase prints. And we have a drop-down menu, and then we have about upcoming shows. And then if we scroll down here, we kind of have the same site menu item going on here. And then we have a welcome message here, which on your homepage, going to give you some points for that. On your homepage, I already know what location you're in. So Fresno, California, you're specializing in landscape and wildlife photography, and you're giving us your contact information right here. And as a bonus, as some of you guys might be noticing, there's something in here that's not typically in your welcome message on your Zenfolio site, and that is enter your email address and subscribe to my newsletter. So Emily has gone in, am I saying Emily? Emily has gone in to her homepage, and in the welcome message, she's figured out that she can hit that source button and actually go in there and put in third-party code, which will then allow her to have things like a subscribe to my newsletter option on her welcome message. So again, really good job on that. Guys, anywhere you see that little source button, you can click there and you can throw in the tag or throw in HTML in there. Now, when you're using custom code, keep in mind it is custom code, so if it doesn't work, if it messes something up, we are going to do our best to help you, but if it's third-party code, we can't troubleshoot the code. If it's not working, we probably just have to tell you to remove it. But great job, Emily, on this. I'm loving the homepage so far. One of the things I'm not entirely 100% sure on is the duplicate menus, so up here and down here, and not a deal breaker, but what do you guys think in chat? Let me know what you guys think about that. Okay, let's follow the path that you've laid out for us today. And that's going to be starting up here in the top. We're just going to kind of go and follow your site menu here. All right, so we're going to hover over purchase prints, and it looks like we have portfolio and latest images. So let's jump into portfolio. And let's just take a look here. So a couple of things right out the gates. One of the things is you could definitely think about the title of this more, right, than just portfolio, especially if this is going to be one of your main pages. You can put in here Fresno, California landscape and fine art photographer portfolio, something like that, anything like that to give us a little bit more information in that title other than just portfolio. And it's not really for us as a visitor. It is, but it's not. It's for search engines because this stuff up here at the top matters. It matters to your your SEO, right? So this has an impact on your SEO. So something that you want to think about here. Also, you have your caption going. It says, need assistance on choosing the right size or medium for your home. Don't hesitate to contact me with any and all of your questions. And it looks like you've got the contact link there. So nice job getting that call to action in your caption. Again, in your caption, you can definitely drop more information. I specialize in some of my favorite places to photograph are, some of my favorite landscape scenes are, some of my favorite flowers, those kinds of things, including that in your caption. Again, you're just strategically dropping keywords in there to help your search results. All right, let's scroll down. Let's take a look. So when I hover over the image, we do have a lot of different things that come up. Not that I'm entirely against this, but I just want to make sure that this stuff is intentional, because if there's one thing that I believe in wholeheartedly, it's that your website as a photographer, everything that shows up on there, if you can control it, should be intentional. You should have a reason why it's there, not just oh, that might be nice. I have this there because of this. So favorites, I mean, I can see that with this type of photography, having this, or somebody could come in here and favorite some photos that they might want to purchase later. Normally, it's not the kind of thing that I find helpful on a portfolio when it's like a client photography portfolio, like portraits or something like that. I don't really think that people would be favoriting images of other people, but I could see this could be handy on this type of portfolio. One thing you do have to be careful with is that when this is the first page that people come to on your site, then you're showing them your images, and now you're giving them new stuff to figure out on top of just trying to look at your images. So something to think about there. Is that really what you want? And if it is, that's fine. So let's scroll down. Let's see how many photos we got in here. Okay, a lot of photos in here. And again, this is called your portfolio. And one thing I'm looking for down here at the bottom is your categories and keywords, which I'm missing here. So normally it would be showing up down here. So if you did take the time to categorize keyword this gallery, it's not doing you any good, because Google is not going to take that into account because it's not actually showing on your site. So Google doesn't really take things that don't show as relevant information, and it does not help your SEO. So I would get some categories and keywords on that gallery, on your images. Make sure that you have it set to show in your gallery. I showed how to do all of that stuff that I just talked about on a recent live stream. I think it was a couple of weeks back. So go check out the Zenfolio live stream archive and check that out. Or if Katie can find that link, she can throw it in the chat as well for you guys. Okay, let's go back up. Let's see what happens when we click on this really quick. All right, so this is loading into the quick shop. We've got the quick shop over here. We also have the visit shop. I think this is perfectly fine. I kind of prefer the quick shop, so I like the way that's loading up. One of the things I do want to see is we have some very panoramic images. We also have some square images. We also have just some normal, it looks like 3:2 aspect ratio images. So the next thing that I want to check while we're here looking at this is the price list on here strategic? Am I going to be able to purchase this panoramic image as an 8x10? Or have you built price lists strategic for that particular aspect ratio, that particular image? So let's take a look and see. Let's start with the square image. And so if we're looking over here, we are seeing 5x7 greeting cards, 8x12 matted print, 8x10 matted print. And as you guys know, as you guys can see, this image is, it might not be perfectly square. It's pretty close. If I try to get this printed as an 8x10, there is going to be some cropping that's going to happen to that photo because the aspect ratio is different than the aspect ratio of an 8x10. if I go to the next photo here, this one's more like a 3:2 aspect ratio. Might not be perfect. I can't just visually tell you what it is, but it's pretty close to 3:2, it looks like. And that's going to work really well for that 8x12. The 8x10, some things are going to be cropped off. But the one I'm really curious about is about the next one, because the next one is a panoramic image, and I want to see if this is going to have a different price list, which accommodates that particular image. So let's go to this one and look here. 12x24, 24x36, 24x48. So it looks like you have built price lists specific for your panoramic images. Awesome job on that. Big bonus points on that. This is a huge part. One of the things that happens is we tend to build one price list, throw a bunch of stuff on there, and then we apply it to all of our images. And then before we know it, we have clients who are ordering panoramic images as 8x10 prints and then calling us because the print that they got was cropped off. And we've created our own problem right out the gate. It looks like you've been intentional and have thought about the price list and what you're applying it to as far as these images. So good job there. All right, and if you're interested in how to do that, I'm pretty sure I did a live stream on that a while back as well, but that process is also something that we actually teach in our Advanced E-commerce 2 class, how to build price lists for specific images or aspect ratios. Okay, let's keep moving through. So the one thing that I am curious about is the navigation, because we have purchase prints, we have portfolio, and latest images. I would like to see that drop down being a little bit more utilized, where if you want to have kind of these groups of these images together where you're like, hey, this is my best, maybe my favorite images. Hey, this is the recent work. But then obviously you're selling landscape and fine art photography. Make it easy for me if I'm looking for a specific type of photo. Where can I go to see categories? Where can I go to say, okay, I want to view just landscapes. I want to view just wildflowers. I want to view butterflies. That navigation is kind of missing from this. Again, you have some absolutely beautiful photos. I just want to be able to get to very particular sections or categories, if you will, of the images. Especially if I'm looking for a specific type of photo to buy for my wall or something like that. All right. What do you guys think in chat, though, as far as this navigation goes? Do you think that this is enough? Would it be nice to have it broken down in categories? Curious to see what you guys think in chat. Let us know there in chat. All right, let's take a look at the latest images really quick. So it looks like there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I mean, this isn't bad. This must be your most recent images. Again, the photos are beautiful. But just like to see some more. I would just like to be able to get to specific categories of photos. Where can I go to see more photos like this? Where can I go to see more photos like this? Where am I going? How am I finding that up here? Because right now, I've been on your website. I've looked at 2 places, and I'm kind of limited as far as what I'm seeing and what's available here. So something to think about there. Okay, let's keep moving on. Let's go check out your About page really quick. So About, you have a nice About photo. Great job having an About photo on here. So many people, again, don't put About photos on their About page. And then I just think it does a disservice to us as photographers and to our clients, because it's always nice to see the person that you're going to be working with or buying from. It just gives a nice personal touch. So let's see, you have an About message written up here. It's kind of justified, which is what's causing these weird gaps. I'm all over the place. What do you guys think about that in chat here? Do you guys think about using this kind of justified? I think that's the right word. Maybe it's not the right word, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about here. Versus like a left alignment or a right alignment. For me, I like the clean look of it. I totally understand the reason for using it. These little weird spaces in here throw it off for me. That's all. All right, let's see. So you got a lot of information in here, and then you have some customer testimonials in here. I think this is great. Let's see. Work, Emily's amazing. Her customer top notch. Captions. Bridge. Okay, so really cool. We go to your About page. Not only do we get to learn a little bit about you, but we also can read about what your clients have said as well. I think that's great. I'm always going to talk and advocate for an About video. Nothing better than to let your personality come across, let your passion come across with a video, but I think that this is great. Let's move to your upcoming shows. Okay, and it looks like this is kind of it breaks my heart due to COVID that you're not doing any shows. So I saw this a couple of times on other photographers' sites who were doing fine art photography, landscape photography, and things like that. So while we're here, while we're talking about this topic and about how art shows and craft shows are not going on, this would be a great time to use the Book Me add-on and do virtual one-on-one art shows, virtual gallery viewings where you use something like Zoom. You let somebody sign up for a one-on-one consultation or virtual gallery viewing, and then you guys screen share. You, as the artist, get to talk about the images, things like that. So something that you guys can think about is how can you utilize technology so that these art and craft shows that you're used to doing all the time aren't out the window, and you're utilizing technology to keep your doors open and meet your customers where we can meet them right now. So something to think about. All right, really quickly, let's go to wholesale and licensing. All right, cool. Lots of good information here. Talk about licensing. They're available for licensing. Please contact me. Image use and details, examples of use. Nice. This is really cool. So a lot of good information here. As well, and you have your email, and it looks like you've actually turned that to a hot link where we can click on that. So I'm going to say great job on that as well. One more site menu item to go to, and that's the contact page. And I can't believe this, guys, but I actually made it through an entire website. First ever, I think. This looks like it's the built-in contact page. Perfectly fine to use. Super simple, easy to set up. Not a lot you have to do to it. So Emily, overall, I think you've got a really cool site. The biggest thing for me that I would talk about is your navigation to your images, making that a little bit easier to find, making that a little more to where we can get to specific sections. Now, we're going to review another site, so I need you guys to throw a number out in the chat. It's going to be 208 to 306. I should have said that like a minute ago so that there wasn't this weird delay. So 208 to 306. If you guys can throw a number out in the chat for me, that's going to be the next site. Emily, again, thank you so much for submitting your site. Hopefully this review was helpful, gave you some good ideas, some things to think about. And guys, if you did art shows and you got a lot of your sales through art shows, think about how you can utilize BookMe and Zoom to do virtual gallery viewings, right? To let people book and schedule consultations with you where maybe they're looking for something for their office, for their home. You can use that, do screen sharing and do virtual art shows, if you will. So something to think about there, okay? Okay, let's see. Mr. Lin is super fast in the chat. He got the number 209 out. So let me go grab that site. And then the next site that we review after this one is going to come from you guys there hanging out with us live. So if you haven't submitted your site yet, make sure that you click that link in the description of the video or in the chat somewhere, get your site submitted. So there's a chance that it'll be the third one that we review. But Lynn said 209. Let me go grab site 209 and just bring this over. Looks like site 209 is J.D. Mullen. So let me grab this, bring it over. Here we go. And we'll go ahead and get 15 minutes up on the clock, and I'll throw this link out for you guys. So let me do that. Get 15 minutes up and get this link thrown out here. Okay, here is the link. All right, so that web address is JD Mullins. I threw it out in the chat. Let me drop this down. So one of the things I'm kind of seeing here that's a little weird for me is it looks like you did some rebranding. So I'm looking at the tab up here, and then I'm looking down here and I see something totally different. Also this right here as well. And guys, this actually happens quite a bit because this website title thing right here that I keep talking about every Site Review Tuesday because I want you guys to get its importance is one of the first things that you fill out whenever you start creating your account or your site here on Zenfolio. So a lot of times, especially if you've been with us for a while, we go through rebrandings as photographers, and we don't always think to come back and do this. And so now we have somebody on our site who went to jdmullins.com. They see Texarkana Premier Photographer up here, and then jdmullins.com down here. So something to think about up here. is, again, the importance of this. This is not just showing in the browser tab. This also shows up in search results as well. So something to think about. You want to keep that consistent with your brand. If you went through a brand or rebranding, make sure that you go back and you check those settings as well. Nice job getting the favicon up here and actually having information in this, even though it's a little different from what we see. I don't know if that was on purpose. Maybe you're trying to double dip there with some extra SEO. I'm not sure that that's what I would recommend to do that. I would definitely keep this on brand and not try to have separate things up here. Okay, let's go check out your homepage. So really quick, we've seen some pretty cool images. It looks like you do a lot of senior photography, a lot of graduation photography. Now, one of the things that I did catch is, I don't know if I can go back, and you guys give me your opinion on this in chat here. So what is your guys' opinion on images like this? I think that this is a really cool photo. Let me pause this. I think it's a really cool photo. It's a great photo, and it would stand for a while on its own if it didn't have 2017 in there. That dates this photo. So even if you're doing this kind of stuff for your clients and you want to show this kind of stuff, you might think about re-editing this photo to say senior underneath there just for your website, right? Because if you have a good photo and the photo is great and you want to make sure that you can use it for as long as possible, the last thing that you want to do is have that photo be dated by having a date in the photo like this. So I would probably, if you want to keep it up there, I think it's great. Probably re-edit it to get it to say senior so it doesn't have any of that dating information, so it can't feel dated. Because when somebody lands on this in 2020 and they say 2017, we're starting to date things, and that's something that personally I try to avoid. What do you guys think in chat? Let me know. Okay, other than that, I think we got, like right here, this says senior. Just get rid of that 17 right there, but that's a great image. Some cool stuff on here. It's really coming across really strong that you do senior photography. Definitely some things to think about. Let's see. Got a lot of photos in here. So some of the things that I would think about is like some of these photos here where it doesn't kind of fill in this space. I personally like that space to be filled in on the homepage, so I would think about maybe doing a collage image there just to get it to take up some more space. Again, you have some beautiful photos on here, some really great work. I just want this space, like think about it as your frame, right? I want this space to be filled with all of these kind of looking like this, where it's filling that space and we don't have that odd kind of side space there. That's all. Okay, moving over here, you've got a really cool logo. We see all my photos here, and this always concerns me when I see this stuff. Because the last thing that I think you want to do as a photographer is give somebody access to all of your photos. Now, I don't know if that's where that's going to take me or if that's just what you called it. But as a visitor, if I'm looking for your portfolio, where do I go to see the best work that you have? Where do I go to see, if I'm looking for a senior photographer, the best examples of senior photography? Am I going to go to all of my photos and kind of have to browse through all of your photos? I don't know if that's something that you want showing or not, so I definitely think about that. We have recent, we have featured, we have clients, guest book, about, and contact. So we're just going to follow this path. We're going to see where it leads and just take a look at it. So all my photos, and okay, right out of the gate, if I'm a visitor, I've seen the images on your homepage. I like the images. Not really sure where I need to be going to see your best work, so I went on all my photos, and now you're asking me for my email. I don't think this is the best experience that you want to provide to your website visitors. If you want to use visitor sign-in, which it's a very powerful tool because it allows you to collect emails for potential clients, what I would suggest doing is building a portfolio preview using a custom page where maybe you show like the best 5 senior photos, the best 5 maternity photos, and have those linked in your drop-down on a custom page. And then if you want to use this visitor sign-in, have a button that says click here to view my entire senior photography portfolio. And then when they click on that button, then they get hit with the visitor sign in before they go and view the entire portfolio. Because right now, all I've seen are the images on your homepage. Haven't really seen much more, and you're already asking for my email address. So I am going to put an email address in here just to progress past this point and see where it takes me to. Because I couldn't really give you a good review if I didn't. So let's keep moving on here. And it looks like this is your JD Mullins event photos. And now just think about this. As a visitor, I'm now on this page where I saw a lot of senior photos. I reluctantly gave up my email address to get in here and see the rest of your photos. And now you've dropped me into this place, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound negative. I just really want you to think about this. Now you kind of dropped me in this place where I've got to go look for what I want to find. And I don't think that's the experience that you want to provide to your visitors, is we don't want them to have to search through here. Where can I go to see your senior photography examples? Where can I go to see your maternity examples? All the stuff that you were showing me here, because it looks like these are event photos, so I don't even think that I'm in the right place. And as a visitor, I am really confused right now. So something to think about. Again, the photos on your homepage were great. It's this part right here. And guys, this is something that I see a lot of sites that need to polish out, right? The portfolio navigation is always something that I talk about on Site Review Tuesday. And it's because it's so important. This is how you get clients online. Whenever you're handing out your cards or people are finding your website, the most important thing is the portfolio navigation of getting those visitors quickly to what they want to see, convincing them that you have the skills, that you can produce the type of work that they're looking for, and then moving them into a position to where they can contact you or learn more about you, whatever that next step is. This is so important, portfolio navigation. So this is event photos. I feel like these are kind of client gallery, so I'm not sure that I even want to risk like clicking in some of these. So we're just going to go ahead and move down the rest of your site menu. There are a lot of things in here. Some stuff I can see, some I can't. Obviously, some of them are password protected as well. So again, think about that. Let's go to recent and let's take a look. All right, so this is recent. And so right here, senior portfolio or senior port 1. This might be something that you want to have a portfolio drop down. Seniors, linking me directly to that senior portfolio, if that's what it is. I haven't clicked on it yet, but having a drop down, making that navigation easier, because now I'm looking for it as a visitor. And if you guys think about when you've hired somebody for a service, whether you hired another photographer to come do family photos for you or something like that, or just any kind of service, how much time did you spend on somebody's website digging for the information that you wanted to find versus giving up on that person and moving on to somebody else's site that was easier to navigate? If you didn't give up on that person, how did you feel when you had to do 20 minutes of research and digging to find the information that you were looking for? Those are the kinds of things that you want to be thinking about. You don't want that experience to happen to your visitors. Let's go check out your senior portfolio and let's take a look. Okay, so on here, a couple of things. Look of the site has changed entirely. It feels like I'm looking at a different website. We started out with kind of a white look before on the homepage. Like it was kind of this all, let me go back to the homepage here. So on the homepage, it was kind of this all white, black and gold letters here. And then we went to all my photos. And let me just drop this down. So things changed again here, where we kind of have this different looking logo, this black up here and the white and all this stuff. And then when I went to recent, it's like a totally different website as well. Let me go here. Or are you on the background editing the photo or editing the website as I'm looking through it? Maybe you're in the background editing it because it was just, or no, it was when I clicked on this. Sorry, going a little crazy. There we go. Now, now you can see what I mean. Totally different when we get here, right? So something to think about here again is establish that consistency. I shouldn't feel like I left and went to a different website. I've seen people set up their sites to where the different portfolio areas look a little different. And I don't have a big problem with that if it's done intentionally. But when it's more like, I just didn't go back and change this, or I clicked the wrong setting and this looks so totally different and I wasn't even aware and I haven't checked it kind of thing. That's, if this is intentional and that was your intentions, that's up to you. It's a personal choice, but I think consistency is where you want to go. What do you guys think in chat? Let me know what you guys think there in chat. Okay. So we have a different navigation here. We can kind of click show all photos. And again, here with these things in your portfolio, 2014, 2015, 2017. Again, I would really try to avoid, I think they're great photos. Your work is great. Like your work is solid. It's really good. But I would definitely try to avoid having anything that has these dates. Just save the Photoshop file and either update it, or if you're not going to update it, just take the year out and just let it say senior on there or something like that. Okay. So let's keep taking a look here. Again, really great photos, just absolutely beautiful photos. I'm not seeing any captions, any keywords, and then we are kind of using this weird sidebar layout to where when you're up here, you kind of have all of this extra information. Oh, the category and keywords are up here. So I forget with that layout, they are up here. So you have those, that's good. But you kind of have this weird layout to where once we get past this area, then it's just all kind of pushed over to the right-hand side, and this is all blanket. It's a little weird, so I would definitely think about that layout. Okay, let's go to your featured. Okay, and it looks like this is a page that either has nothing on it that we can't access, that has been set to private or something like that. This is why it's so important, you guys, to give your site a reality check. Open it up in an incognito window and go through and test it out like a visitor. Make sure that you're checking these links, that you're double checking things, that things make sense, that the links go to where they're supposed to go. That way, somebody doesn't land on this, because I'm already, as a visitor, again, really confused on what's going on, and now I'm on a blank page and I'm wondering if this is working, like what's going on with it. So something to think about. Let's check out your client's page. So this is your what's called client access page. It looks like maybe it has an image that's either regenerating for some reason, or maybe this image is private. You switch the gallery over to private and this image just can't be seen publicly. If you guys ever watch me talk about testing your site out from a visitor and saying to do it in an incognito window, this is one of the reasons why. Because sometimes when you're looking at your site, if you have an image that's in a private gallery, you're still going to be able to see it. But when your visitor looks at it logged out and not logged in as the photographer, they might see a blank image, or they might see something that says this content is protected by the owner. So you need to know those things and make sure that you have things set up correctly. So let's go to search. And not sure what I'm going to be searching for, but let's just give it a stab. Let's do maternity really quick. All right, so nothing here. Let's do portrait. All right, and so nothing here. Let's try one more thing. Senior. All right, so we have your senior portfolio, senior portraits. If we go to photos, we have some images here. So again, something to think about. If you're going to show this search, make sure that you're setting up your account to be searchable. Make sure that you intentionally set this search page up to show what you want it to show. Think about what people might be searching for. Make sure that you're keywording it and different things like that. Okay, guest book. Let's check out your guest book. 20 seconds left. Okay, so I cannot read this language, but one of the things that I notice is that these are all, I don't know what language this is in. Sorry about that. But every single one of these have links, which my guess is that these are spam. And so this is a reason why I would typically recommend not showing your guest book. If you're going to show your guest book, just make sure that you moderate the comments so that people can't just go and spam your guest book with a bunch of things that don't make sense, that have links to probably viruses or whatever else they're putting on there. So this is one of the things you want to be careful with. All right, unfortunately, I ran out of time. Thank you, JD, so much for submitting your site. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, my biggest thing, that portfolio navigation flow. Where am I supposed to go as a visitor to look at your portfolio and see your best work? That's what I would really focus on first. And then just the consistency of the layout and design and colors of your site and all of that stuff. All right. All right, you guys, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to get some tea. I haven't ordered any Earl Grey tea yet. You guys were suggesting Earl Grey tea last time I asked, so I got to get some ordered. Today's tea is green tea with ginger and probiotics again. I'm going to get a sip of tea, and I'll be right back. We're going to review one of your guys' sites live next, so you have like a minute left to get that site submitted through the link, and when we come back, we're going to be doing one of your guys' sites live. I'll be right back.
Hello Zen friends, Katie here from Zenfolio's customer support team. Thank you for joining us for Site Review Tuesday. If you are here for our live broadcast, you may already see me right over here in YouTube chat, ready to help with any questions you may have. For those of you watching the recorded version of our broadcast, you could submit any questions that you might have in the link below in the video description. You can also submit your own site for our review in the links below. Also, if you love us as much as we love you, please be sure to click the like button on this video and subscribe to our channel for lots of great info on managing your Zenfolio account and customizing your site. We're so grateful to have these pre-submitted user sites. Now let's take one of your live submissions. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thank you, Katie. Again, she does an awesome job at helping me stay on track, helping me pronounce things, helping me read things. So thank you so much, Katie, for hanging out with us week after week. All right. This week's live audience site review is going to be, I'm going to try to say it correctly. Is it Gustavo Villarreal Photography? Gustavo, if I pronounce it wrong, please make fun of me heavily in the chat. Let me get this pulled over and we're going to go ahead and give this site a review. Again, it's Gustavo Villarreal Photography .zenfolio.com. Let me throw the link out for you guys here really quick. Let me get another sip of tea really quick. Oh man, I hate drinking it with the little tag in it because it always gets in my way, but I always like to leave the tea bag in. Does anybody have any hacks for that? Let me know in chat. Should I just tear the thing off and just drop the whole thing in there? Okay, here we go. We're going to get 15 minutes up on the clock, get this review going. I'll get the link though in the chat for you guys. I'm not even going to take a stab at the name again because I think I've already done justice and embarrassed myself enough. So there's the link. I will go ahead and get started here. Let me bring this down so you guys can see this. All right, so we have Gustavo Villarreal Photography and Video. Maybe a sip of tea will help. We have the site menu set up here. We have some really beautiful photos. So this looks like a really cool site. I'm excited for this. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this setup first. You have a really big welcome message here. And I kind of, what do you guys think in chat about this welcome message over the image? I think that this works really nicely. And the cool thing is he's got the photo strip going on, which requires scrolling back and forth. But one of the weird things is with this welcome message, Villarreal. Katie's tried to tell me how to pronounce it, and I'm still way off. So you guys make fun of me again. That's fine. One of the weird things, though, is this welcome message overlay is preventing me from hovering back the opposite direction. So I have to kind of come up here, maybe. Let's see. Maybe down here. Not sure. So let's see. How do I go back the other direction? There we go. So one thing to think about here, you might want to think about the size of that welcome message. Maybe trading. It's really cool that it's here. I think you have some good images or good information, but maybe trading that information space from being up here over this to down here so that it's a little easier to do this little kind of interactive thing here where we can go back and forth on these images. Really, really beautiful photos though, just absolutely gorgeous images. Let's keep scrolling through this. Take a look here. So I love that you've got this kind of collage thing going on here. One of the things I would think about is that you kind of already have your logo up here. I would probably replace this with an actual image. Now, I'm sure you probably created this for something else. You're using it somewhere else. You just put it up here for your slideshow. Really cool collage. I would just probably replace that with an image because you kind of have the logo already up here and you already have your contact info here. Some absolutely beautiful photos though. Really, really cool work. Looks like a lot of fun. Let's keep going here. Yeah, and again, so on this stuff right here, like for your homepage where you already have your logo, these kinds of things right here, I would probably think about taking these things off of the image. But really cool photos. Let's just keep going and taking a look here. Man, look at that one. That's a beautiful image right there. Beautiful, beautiful. But as you can see, I'm struggling with the scrolling. So, and that little tool right there, I can't click on. So again, the welcome message right here, even though it's really super beneficial, I would maybe think about using a layout that has it down here, or shortening this somehow, getting some of this extra space that's here to maybe go away so that we can just not struggle so much with that scroll. Okay, let's keep going here. Really cool photos. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Beautiful, beautiful photos. Okay, so let's take a look at your site menu. We got the logo up here. One of the things I would think about too with that logo is that when we transfer over, I'm curious to see where it's going to be. So you have your contact showing up first. I think that's fine because your portfolio gallery is right here and it looks like you have actually set up a drop-down menu. So thank you for setting up a drop-down menu with a really easy navigation right here. Good job on that. As you guys see earlier, one of the things that I point out a lot is portfolio navigation and making it simple. So this is going to help. All right, so wedding photography and video services, 16 area, California. And we got the number here. Looks like we have a caption over here. Okay, so in this case, can't believe I'm saying this, but in this case, I would almost back off a little bit, if not a lot, on your SEO. I love that you're excited about this, that you're going here and you're putting all this information. One of the things that you have to be careful with is finding a balance, because if Google or Bing or any of the other search engines see that you have the same keyword repeated a ton of times in your pages and in your images and in your captions and all of that stuff, they actually look at it and they penalize you for it because they consider it black hat SEO, where you're trying to cheat the system, where you're just trying to beat the algorithm by trying to say, for instance, trying to say California more than the next photographer might say it. And so this is one of the things you want to be careful with, is this information right here. Now, as far as this setup goes with your caption being over here, what I would consider doing is not making this a place where you put a bunch of keywords. That's kind of already done down here. What I would do up here is strategically place keywords inside of paragraphs of sentences that you actually want people to read. Because again, as you're seeing now as a visitor, this stuff is legible here. And if I'm a visitor and I don't know anything about websites, it just looks like a bunch of nonsense, wedding-related nonsense over here on the right. So what I would do is I would make this in sentence form, and I would say, you know, I specialize in weddings and quinceañeras. I tried to say that right. You can make fun of me again if I'm getting it wrong. Some of my favorite places or some of my favorite venues to photograph these things, or photograph weddings, are at this particular venue, and name those venues. This caption should be in paragraph, sentence, actual readable form where it would make sense to a visitor to read. Now, as a wedding photographer, and this being your wedding portfolio, what I would recommend using here is talking about that you specialize in weddings in Fresno, California area, whatever you want to put here. And then I would do some of my favorite venues or locations to photograph weddings are. Maybe put those venues' names in there, link to those venues, reach out to those venues, let them know, send them the page and say, hey, would you guys mind linking back to me? Those back and forth links are really good for your SEO. And in this, you could also talk about, you know, I like to specialize in formal pose wedding photos with the bridesmaids and the grooms. So you could take some of these keywords that you've kind of pushed into this caption section. And instead of making it feel like a bunch of keywords stuffed in here, you can take them and repurpose them, put them in paragraph form, and just write something about this gallery. That is what I would do. Now, the categories and keywords down here, I think what you've done is fine, except let's get rid of these duplicated keywords here, because that is going to get you in trouble. Not get you in trouble, but it could penalize you and hurt your search results. So that is something that you might want to think about here. Also, one of the things you need to remember is that when you're writing keywords, and so I'm going to jump over here really quick. When you're writing keywords, if you are writing a phrase, like, let me just go to this engagements gallery really quick. When you're writing keywords in the gallery, so let me go here. If you're writing a phrase, you want to make sure that you enclose it in quotation marks. So if you're going to say, I'm a wedding photographer in California, you might do a quotation mark, wedding photos in CA, or however you want to do it, and then close it in quotation marks. That way, it doesn't take each of those individual words and look at those as keywords. It takes that entire thing that's encapsulated in those quotation marks and looks at that as a keyword phrase. So you want to be careful, make sure that you're using that. Don't do all of them that way, but use some of them that way. And that's probably also going to help you clean this up as well. Usually what they recommend is about 15 to 20 different keywords. And then if you're doing keywords on your images, just make sure that you're doing that as well. It looks like you are thinking about the way that you're titling your images. So again, just something to think about. Don't title them all the same. And again, don't think of the image titles as a place to put keywords. Think of the image titles as a place to describe the image with strategically placed keywords. Outdoor bride and groom photo at sunset in California. So you're putting keywords in there, but it doesn't just say wedding photography, photography and video services, California, bride and groom, photos, wedding, California. That's the thing I want you to think about. Think about the difference in the way that it's being presented. All right. I know I spent a lot of time here, but that stuff is super important. Let's go down. Again, some absolutely beautiful images. Look at that one right here, guys. That is beautiful, beautiful photos. Just gorgeous photos. There are a lot of images in here. So what I would probably consider doing is culling these down just a little bit. As you can see, that scroll bar is really small. So I have a long way to scroll. What I would definitely consider is going through here and cherry picking these, maybe picking your best 10 to 20 images, making sure that you're updating these. If you're looking at photos and you're like, okay, I really like this one, 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 but I have a bunch of photos that are all kind of the bride and groom together outdoors. That's when you want to start thinking, okay, which one of those or which two of those bride and groom outdoors is my best that I feel like presents my work as well. And that's kind of the way you want to start culling these down too as well, is making sure that you're not showing a bunch of the same type of photo repeated over and over again. Again, I would shoot for your best 10 to 20 images. You could go a little bit over that. I wouldn't go too much. But just something to think about there. All right, let's keep moving on. Let's go to your engagement portfolio. And I have a feeling that things are being pretty consistent. So I have a feeling I'm going to have the same type of feedback on most of your portfolios. Again, just absolute beautiful, beautiful work. Just gorgeous photos. Gorgeous, gorgeous photos. So again, same thing over here with the categories and keywords. I love, love, love that you are so into your SEO. I would just kind of repurpose those, rethink about it a little bit, re-strategize just a little bit, but I love that you're so into it. Okay, so let's see if we can make it past the portfolio galleries, because I'm probably going to have these, but let's take a look at the GLBTQ wedding, just because we haven't looked at any of those galleries. Let's take a look really quick. Very cool. Very cool. So I love that you have that called out on your portfolio. I would probably think about the placement, maybe bring that back up here with weddings as well. What do you guys think about that being separate? I kind of like it being separate, but I also think it would be cool to be included as well. I don't know. I'm up on the fence. What do you guys think in chat? Let me know. But I love that you have that called out. Again, I would definitely rethink about the way that these are written and captured or captioned and keyworded in here. Let's keep moving on. Let's go to book design and printing. Let's see, wedding album. All right, so let's see, is this a custom page or is this a gallery? So this is a gallery. So check out this gallery customization, you guys. This is pretty sweet. So he's using the banner up here, showing some, and hopefully I'm saying this right, showing some of these custom wedding albums. So really cool. And then you have a slideshow. Some of this stuff feels a little small, specifically this slideshow here. Maybe you want to bring that out, make it a little bit larger, but this is really cool. Since this is kind of a gallery to show examples of your work, what you might think about doing is either transferring this over to a custom page, or you could just make these images a little bit larger, get rid of all of this overlay stuff that's right here. Also, the select photos, I would probably get rid of that, the slideshow, and leave the share here. It's probably just because this is kind of an example page, not really a gallery where you're going to take any gallery type of interactions. Really cool though. Let's keep moving on. I love your use of site menu. So the drop downs, you have all these drop downs set up. It makes the navigation really easy. I don't have to click around and look for things. It makes the navigation really, really easy. Again, just, oh, that's beautiful. Look at this. These are some beautiful photos, beautiful setup. Love it. So again, this is kind of the same thing. It's kind of an example page. So maybe just thinking about changing some of the overlays that we have here. Because we're just really looking at an example of the work that you do. We're not really taking any gallery actions. Let's try your video section. All right, sweet. So I want to show you guys what just happened. We went from the website, we clicked on videos, it opened in a new tab, to Gustavo's YouTube channel. Nice having that open up. Now I have some kind of weird stuff going on, so this isn't actually what it looks like. It's just from my browser, but nice having that open up into a new tab, not having it lose our Zenfolio navigation. So good use of that, opening that up in a new tab. I'm not going to have time to check out the videos because I'm running low on time. Let's check out your blog really quick. Let's see if you're keeping your blog up to date. All right, so the blog, again, is going to a different blog. Just to bring this down here, looks like it says on Blogger. Now you can use RSS feeds and import an existing blog into your Zenfolio blog. If you didn't know that, there is an article you can look up. But I love that you have these external sites opening up a new tab so that I, as a visitor, do not lose your Zenfolio navigation. So good job on that, having that set up to do that. I don't have time to look at your blog. Overall, I think you've got a really nicely set up page. Just my biggest thing is going back to looking at the way that you have all of those keywords and captions in there. I would rethink about the structure, rethink about how you have them written up, and just kind of change that up a little bit. But overall, beautiful, beautiful website. Thank you so much for submitting it. Hopefully that was helpful and gave you some good ideas, some good places to start. But thank you so much, Gustavo, for doing that and submitting your site. Okay, we got like 2 minutes and 43 seconds left. Let me check on you guys here in chat really quick. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Don't really have time for questions. Typically on these, I never end up with time for questions. Sorry about that, you guys. But when you do 3 sites that are reviews that are 15 minutes long, usually that's what happens. Hey, hope you guys had a great 4th of July. I got to just kind of hang out with the family. Hope everybody was safe. I know some people in California had some pretty crazy time with a couple of firework mishaps that I heard about. Some of my friends at Zen had some firework mishaps, but hopefully all of you guys were safe. I do want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. All of you guys who submitted your site for review, thank you so much for that. If you are looking for the recording of this, it will be available later on if you missed anything. I've also been adding timestamps so you can go back to just the specific site review that you want to look at, whether it's yours or somebody else's. Those timestamps are available whenever the recording is actually published on our channel. But thank you, John, June, Gustavo, let's see, who else? Barbara, Lynn, Emily. Is it Emily? Yep, Emily. Maria, June, and anybody else that I missed, Jeff, Courtney, Yvonne, Charles Mills, all of you guys, and Angela, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Hopefully you found the site reviews helpful. If your site didn't get picked for review, don't worry. We do these every single Tuesday, so just come back next Tuesday, keep submitting it. I'm sure it will get reviewed one of these days coming up. But hey, don't forget, coming up on Thursday, Zenfolio Live. That starts at the same time we started the site review today. So make sure that you check that out. It's going to be all about how you can include downloads in your session fees. So if you are a photographer, and well, all of you guys are probably photographers, I would think so. If you include digital downloads in your session fees, I'm going to show you the workflow, how to do that on Zenfolio without using that download option that's in the gallery that can let everybody download the photos. So just let your specific clients download the photos. So make sure that you check that live stream out. Don't forget, August 13th, write it down in your calendar, make an event in your calendar, whatever you got to do. If you only catch one episode of Zenfolio Live this or that month, that is going to be the one that you want to catch. Again, we're going to have a special guest, a pretty cool giveaway, and I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff as well. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Make sure that you have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Until then, make sure that you do something nice for somebody, lift somebody up, tell somebody something good about themselves, and let's work together to make the world a better place because it could really, really use it. Thank you guys. See you on Thursday.